The silence in the council station stretched for what felt like hours but was only seconds. 12 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy stared at the human warships surrounding them, trying to understand how their entire view of the universe had been wrong. Vextar was the first to break. His aggressive nature would not let him accept defeat so easily. "I don't believe it," he declared, his forearms clenching into fists. "No species could hide this level of technology for 50 years. This is some kind of trick. Admiral," he called to his fleet commander, "order our ships to attack positions. I want to test these human vessels." Admiral Kexthor looked uncertain. "Sir, our scanners are showing energy readings from those ships that are impossible. I'm not sure our weapons can even damage them." "Attack," Vextar ordered. 3 Vortani battlecruisers moved toward the human ships, charging their most powerful weapons. The aliens throughout the station watched through the viewports, some hoping to see human weakness finally revealed. Captain O'Subin received the attack order and sighed. "Human ships, defend yourselves. Non-lethal response only." What happened next redefined the word impossible for every alien witness. The human ships didn't even seem to notice the incoming attacks. Vortani energy beams, powerful enough to crack moons in half, struck the human vessels and simply disappeared. The shots were absorbed so completely that they made the human ships slightly brighter, as if they were feeding on the alien weapons. Then the human ships responded. Beams of silver light touched the 3 Vortani cruisers for less than a second each. The alien ships simply stopped working. Not destroyed, not damaged, but completely disabled. Every system on board shut down simultaneously. Engines, weapons, life support, communications, everything went dark. "What did you do to them?" Admiral Kexthor demanded, his voice shaking. "We turned them off," Captain O'Subin replied casually. "Your crews are unharmed. Life support will be restored in 30 minutes. But your ships will not function again until we allow it." The demonstration was gentle but terrifying. Human technology was so advanced that they could disable alien vessels without even trying to hurt them. It was like adults dealing with children throwing a tantrum. Minister Thylon of the Cathari Collective spoke slowly, her multiple eyes fixed on the human ships. "How long have you been able to do this?" "Disable your ships?" "About 30 years, Admiral Park replied from the engine's pride. "We've been studying your technology for decades. We know exactly how your computers work, how your engines function, how your weapons operate. We've designed systems specifically to counter every piece of equipment you have." Dr. Lee Suman appeared on the communication screen from her laboratory on Earth. "We've been preparing for this moment since we first discovered your surveillance network. Every piece of alien technology that was ever lost or abandoned was secretly recovered and studied. We learned from you, then improved on everything. The scope of human preparation was staggering. For 50 years, while aliens watched what they thought was a primitive civilization, humanity had been building the most advanced military and scientific complex in galactic history. The perception filters," whispered Krillax of the Zephyr Collective. "You made us see what you wanted us to see." "Correct," Dr. Lee confirmed. "Every sensor scan you ever conducted showed you fake information. When you looked at our space stations, you saw primitive metal and chemical fuel. The reality was fusion reactors and quantum computers. When you scanned our ships, you saw slow chemical rockets. The reality was faster-than-light vessels with weapons that could destroy stars." The aliens began to understand the true scale of the deception. For half a century, they had been watching an elaborate theater performance while the real human civilization developed in secret. President Moon Jiwan's image appeared again, addressing not just the council leaders but every alien in the galaxy. "We want to make something very clear. We are not conquerors. We are not here to destroy or dominate anyone. We revealed ourselves because we want to establish proper diplomatic relations." "What kind of relations?" asked Morden of the Crystal Hives, his insect head clicking nervously. Ambassador Lee Hyunwoo materialized on the communication screen from the diplomatic vessel approaching the station. "Relations between equals. For too long, the galaxy has been dominated by species who believe that age equals wisdom, that being first to develop technology makes you superior to everyone else. We propose a new galactic order," President Moon continued, "one where younger species are not treated as children to be protected, but as partners to be respected. One where technological advancement is shared, not hoarded. One where the strong help the weak become stronger instead of keeping them weak. The terms humanity offered were revolutionary. Equal representation in galactic government regardless of how long a species had been spacefaring. Open technology sharing to help all civilizations advance together. An end to the patronizing protection policies that kept younger species trapped in their home systems. And if we refuse these terms? Vextar asked, though his aggressive tone had disappeared. Fleet Admiral Song Mirai appeared on screen from the bridge of humanity's newest super dreadnought. The ship behind her was so large it had to be built in the empty space between stars. Then you continue as you are and we continue as we have been. But now you know we're watching. The threat was subtle but absolutely clear. Humanity would no longer hide, but they wouldn't force change either. However, any species that tried to maintain the old order of galactic dominance would find themselves dealing with human disapproval. And human disapproval, as the aliens were beginning to understand, was something to be avoided at all costs. "You've been in our space for months," Minister Thylon said. "You could have destroyed us at any time." "Yes," Admiral Park confirmed. "But destruction is not our goal. We want a galaxy where all intelligent species can prosper and grow. We've been waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves and offer partnership instead of domination." One by one, the alien species began to accept the new reality. The Zephyr Collective, always logical, were the first to acknowledge that fighting humanity would be suicide. The Crystal Hives, despite their groupthink tendencies, recognized that cooperation would benefit everyone. Even the proud Cathari eventually admitted that human technology surpassed their own. Only the Vortani continued to resist. But their resistance crumbled when they realized their entire military force was effectively useless against human defenses. 6 months later, the galaxy had changed completely. Human ships patrolled trade routes, their presence ending piracy and territorial disputes that had lasted for centuries. Human scientists shared technology that advanced alien civilizations by decades in months. Human diplomats mediated conflicts that had seemed impossible to resolve. The Galactic Council still existed, but it now included humanity as an equal member. More importantly, it had opened membership to dozens of younger species that had been kept in primitive conditions by the Old Guard's protective policies. Captain Nam Ji-woo stood on the bridge of the Inshan's Pride, looking out at a galaxy transformed. Human colonies were spreading to new star systems, but they were sharing space with alien settlements in partnerships that would have been impossible under the old system. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Hanari, "we're receiving thanks from the Andretti species. They say the technology we shared has allowed them to finally clean their polluted homeworld." "Good," Nam Ji-woo replied. "That's what this was all about." The revelation had worked perfectly. Instead of conquering the galaxy through force, humanity had conquered it through demonstration of superior capability, combined with genuine desire for cooperation. The alien species that had once seen humans as primitive children now looked to them as wise teachers and powerful protectors. The greatest surprise in galactic history had not been the revelation of human military might. It had been the revelation of human character. The fact that a species with the power to dominate the galaxy chose instead to help it grow, and in quiet moments, when he thought no one was looking, Captain Nam Ji-woo would smile at the memory of alien arrogance, and the simple truth that had changed everything. The galaxy had thought they were protecting Earth from the dangers of space. They never realized they needed protection from Earth, but Earth, as it turned out, was more interested in protecting everyone else than in protecting itself. And that had made all the difference in creating a galaxy where everyone could finally feel safe to reach for the stars. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was the largest gathering of alien leaders in over a century. Representatives from all 12 species had traveled to the secure station in the Theta Serpentis system, bringing their most advanced scientists, military commanders, and intelligence experts. The station itself was a marvel of alien engineering, built from the strongest materials known to the galaxy, and protected by energy shields that could stop a supernova. It was supposedly the most secure location in council space. What the aliens didn't know was that 5 human ships were already inside the station's shields, their stealth technology making them completely invisible to every scanner and sensor the aliens possessed. Bextar of the Vortani Empire spoke first, his 4 arms gesturing angrily. "This human situation has gone beyond mysterious. It has become impossible. My supply fleets are arriving empty, My soldiers report equipment vanishing from sealed rooms. My computers are being accessed by sources that don't exist. The same is happening throughout our territory, confirmed Krillax of the Zephyr Collective. Our most logical minds cannot explain how humans developed such advanced stealth technology without us detecting it. Minister Thylon of the Cathari Collective leaned forward, her multiple eyes focusing on the center of the table. I have a theory that none of you will like. What if we never understood human capabilities at all? What if everything we observed for 50 years was deliberate deception? The room fell silent. The idea was too terrible for most of the aliens to accept. Impossible, declared Morden of the Crystal Hives, his insect-like head clicking nervously. We scanned their entire solar system for decades. We saw their primitive technology, their simple computers, their chemical rockets. They cannot hide that level of advancement. Deep beneath what appeared to be an abandoned Earth, Admiral Park Do-hyun sat in the most advanced command center ever built. Around him, holographic displays showed the location of every alien ship in the galaxy. Quantum computers processed information at speeds that would make alien artificial intelligence look like simple calculators. Sir, reported Admiral Ryu Dongmin, Supreme Commander of the Shadow Fleet, all ships are in position. We have complete strategic superiority throughout Council space. When you give the order, we can disable their entire military force without destroying a single ship. Park Do-hyun nodded. The plan had taken 40 years to develop and execute. Every detail had been carefully considered. Every possible alien response had been prepared for. What's the status of our perception filters? Dr. Lee Suman appeared on the main screen from her laboratory. All systems functioning perfectly. The aliens still see Earth as an empty, abandoned planet. They have no idea that 60 billion humans are living normal lives just a few kilometers under their sensors. The deception was absolute. While alien ships patrolled empty space above, Earth cities thrived underground. Vast industrial complexes produced technology that exceeded anything in the galaxy. Universities taught sciences that alien civilizations had never imagined. Sir, called Captain O'Subin from her position near the council station, the alien meeting is reaching a critical point. They're about to vote on whether to begin a galaxy-wide search for human refugees. This was the moment they had been waiting for. Begin final positioning, Admiral Park ordered. All ships prepare for Revelation Protocol. Throughout the galaxy, 200 human warships moved into their final positions. Each ship was a masterpiece of technology and engineering, capable of devastating entire alien fleets while remaining completely invisible. The flagship alone, the INS Incheon's Pride, could engage the entire Galactic Council Navy and emerge victorious. Its weapons could reshape planets, its shields could absorb the energy of stars, and its computers could hack every alien system simultaneously. But the most powerful weapon was surprise. At the council meeting, Vextar was becoming more aggressive. I propose we declare humans a galactic threat. Their stealth capabilities make them dangerous to all civilized species. We should hunt them down wherever they're hiding and force them to surrender their technology. And if they refuse, asked Krillax, then we destroy them before they can threaten the galaxy. The vote was about to begin when something impossible happened. Captain O'Subin received her orders and smiled. Attention Council Station. This is Captain O'Subin of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are surrounded. Look outside. Every alien in the station rushed to the viewports and gasped in shock. Where there had been empty space moments before, massive human warships were suddenly visible. The ships were enormous, sleek, and obviously more advanced than anything the aliens had ever built. This is impossible, whispered Minister Thylon. Where did they come from? We've been here the entire time, O'Subin replied calmly. We've been listening to your discussions about hunting down human refugees. We find your concerns amusing. Admiral Kexthor, who had been so confident about conquering human territory, stared at the human ships in disbelief. Those vessels, they're larger than our biggest dreadnoughts. How many do you have? That information is classified, O'Subin said. But I can tell you this, what you see here is a tiny fraction of our total fleet. The truth was staggering. Human ships were appearing all over the galaxy, dropping their stealth fields simultaneously. Alien colonies looked up to see massive human warships floating in their skies. Alien military bases found themselves surrounded by vessels that made their own defenses look like toys. On Earth, President Moon Ji-won addressed the galaxy for the first time. His image appeared on every communication screen throughout council space. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began, his voice calm and reasonable. "For 50 years you have believed that humanity was a primitive species in need of protection and guidance. This was a mistake. We allowed you to believe this because it served our purposes to remain hidden while we developed our civilization." The alien leaders at the council station listened in stunned silence. "We are not refugees fleeing our solar system," President Moon continued. "We are the dominant military power in this galaxy, and we have been watching you, studying you, and preparing for this moment when we would reveal ourselves." Vextar found his voice. "You're bluffing. No species could develop such advanced technology without us detecting it." Admiral Park Do-hyun appeared on the communication screen, his image broadcasting from the bridge of the Incheon's Pride. "Would you like a demonstration?" Without waiting for an answer, human ships throughout the galaxy began a coordinated display of their capabilities. Energy beams cut through empty asteroids like they were made of paper. Force fields bent space itself into impossible shapes. Ships moved at speeds that broke every law of physics the aliens understood. The demonstration lasted exactly 60 seconds and showed the aliens' technology they could not have imagined in their wildest dreams. "The human fleet you see around this station," Admiral Park announced, "represents less than 1% of our total military force. We have been operating in your space for months without you detecting us. We know the location of every one of your ships, every one of your bases, every one of your weapons." The psychological impact was complete. The aliens had spent centuries believing they were the advanced species protecting primitive humans. In one moment they discovered they were the primitives being watched by an advanced human civilization. "What do you want from us?" asked Krillax, her musical voice shaking with fear. Captain O'Subin smiled. "We want to talk. We want to establish proper diplomatic relations between equals. We want to end the patronizing treatment of younger species and create a galaxy where all civilizations can prosper." "And if we refuse?" Admiral Park's voice was calm but absolutely certain. "Then you will discover why primitive humans were never afraid of the advanced alien civilizations watching them. We were not hiding from you because we were weak. We were hiding from you because we were strong, and we were waiting for the right moment to prove it." The revelation was complete. The galaxy would never be the same. 3 months had passed since humanity's impossible disappearance from their own solar system. The Vortani Empire now controlled Europa, Mars, and several asteroid mining sites. Their ships patrolled the empty space where human civilization used to exist, searching for any sign of where the primitive species had gone. Admiral Kexthor stood in his command center on Europa, studying reports that made no sense. "Tell me again what happened to supply ship Mordak," he ordered his intelligence officer. "Sir, the ship departed from Vortani Prime with a full cargo of weapons and equipment for our new bases. When it arrived here yesterday, the cargo holds were completely empty. The crew swears the holds were sealed and guarded the entire journey. Our security recordings show no one entering the cargo areas. And the crew? No memory of what happened. They remember loading the cargo, they remember the journey, but they have no idea when or how everything disappeared." Similar reports were coming in from across Vortani space. Supply convoys arrived empty. Military bases reported equipment vanishing from locked storage rooms. Communication arrays picked up strange signals that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Captain Lim Taman floated in the command center of his stealth ship, positioned just 50 meters from the Vortani flagship. His vessel was so perfectly invisible that alien sensors showed only empty space. He could have reached out and touched the alien ship. But they had no idea he existed. "Ghost Team Alpha. Report status," he whispered into his communication system. "We're inside the supply depot on level 7, came the reply from Lieutenant Kim Hae-young. "The Vortani security is impressive, but not as impressive as they think. We've replaced half their weapons shipment with empty boxes. They won't discover it for weeks. The ghost operations were working perfectly. Human Special Forces teams, using technology that made them invisible to all alien sensors, moved freely through enemy territory. They could walk through alien bases, sit in alien meetings, and access alien computers without anyone knowing they were there. The psychological impact was devastating. On the homeworld of the Cathari Collective, the most technologically advanced species in the galaxy, Minister Thelon called an emergency meeting of their top scientists. "Explain to me," she demanded, How a primitive species that barely understands quantum mechanics has managed to make our most advanced detection systems useless. Dr. Velmar, chief scientist of the collective, struggled to find an answer. Minister, we've run every test we can think of. Our sensors show no signs of human technology anywhere in our space. Yet 3 of our research stations have reported impossible equipment failures. Our computers are being accessed by unknown sources. Our communication networks are picking up signals that shouldn't exist. Are you telling me that humans, who we believed could barely build chemical rockets, have somehow developed stealth technology superior to ours? The evidence suggests. Yes, Minister. Either that, or we have fundamentally misunderstood human capabilities from the very beginning. Back in Earth's hidden command centers, Admiral Park Do-hyun reviewed the ghost operation reports with satisfaction. Every alien species in the Council was experiencing the same phenomena. Equipment failures, missing supplies, impossible sensor readings, and growing paranoia about human capabilities. Sir, reported Major Park Soulon, the Zephyr Collective has tripled their security patrols. The Crystal Hives have recalled all their exploration fleets to protect their home systems. Even the Chthonic Union is showing signs of genuine concern. Good, Park replied. Fear will make them more likely to listen when we finally reveal ourselves. How are our infiltration operations progressing? Commander Cho Min-hyuk appeared on the main screen from his position, deep in Galactic Council space. Sir, we now have invisible ships positioned near every major alien installation. We've mapped their entire military structure, copied their communication codes, and identified the locations of their most important leaders. The scope of human infiltration was staggering. While aliens searched frantically for signs of primitive human refugees, advanced human warships sat invisible in their most secure star systems. Human intelligence officers attended alien military briefings, recorded alien strategic planning sessions, and downloaded alien technical databases. The aliens were completely naked before human observation, and they didn't even know it. Dr. Shin Hyejin had been studying alien psychological profiles for months, preparing for the moment when humanity would need to negotiate with species who had vastly underestimated them. The fear is affecting each species differently, she reported to Admiral Park. The Vortani are becoming more aggressive, trying to prove they're still in control. The Zephyr Collective are becoming more logical and analytical, trying to solve the mystery through pure reasoning. The Cathari are becoming withdrawn and suspicious, questioning everything they thought they knew. And the Council as a whole, fracturing. They're starting to blame each other for the human situation. Some think it's all an elaborate trick by another Council member. Others believe humans received help from an unknown alien species. A few are beginning to suspect the truth, that they completely misjudged human capabilities. The truth was more incredible than even the most paranoid alien could imagine. While they searched for primitive human refugees, humanity was operating the most advanced intelligence network in galactic history. Captain Nam Jiwoo received a priority message from one of the ghost teams operating near the galactic core. Sir, we've intercepted communications between Council leaders. They're planning to meet in person to discuss the human situation. All 12 species will send their top officials to a secure location in the Theta Serpentis system. This was the opportunity they had been waiting for. Admiral, Nam Jiwoo contacted Park Do-hyun. Request permission to position the entire Shadow Fleet for maximum psychological impact. Granted. Begin Operation Revelation. It's time to show the galaxy who they're really dealing with. All across alien space, invisible human ships began moving into position. The Shadow Fleet, which had been scattered throughout the galaxy for months, started to converge on key locations. Still invisible, still undetected, but now positioned to deliver the greatest surprise in galactic history. The aliens thought they were dealing with a primitive species that had somehow learned to hide. They had no idea they were about to face the most advanced military force the galaxy had ever seen. In the Zephyr Collective's home system, Captain Oh Subin watched alien patrol ships search desperately for signs of human presence. Her stealth destroyer floated directly above the alien capital city, recording everything, preparing detailed maps of every important building and installation. Ghost operations complete, she reported. We have full intelligence on all Council species. Military capabilities, political structures, technological weaknesses, everything. The Vortani battle fleet moved through Jupiter's space like conquerors coming home. Their 12 ships gleamed with polished metal and bright lights, making sure everyone could see their power and advanced technology. Admiral Kexthor stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Europa grow larger on the main screen. "This will be easy," he told his officers. "The humans probably don't even know we're here yet. Their primitive sensors can't detect us until we're almost on top of them." What Admiral Kexthor didn't know was that humans had been watching his fleet since it entered the solar system 3 days ago. Every move his ships made, every communication they sent, every weapon they charged was being recorded and analyzed by invisible human ships floating nearby. Commander Bei Wujin sat in the command center of his stealth reconnaissance ship, watching the alien fleet through sensors so advanced they could count the scales on Kexthor's skin from 10,000 kilometers away. The aliens had no idea they were being observed. "They're setting up exactly as we predicted," Bei Wujin reported to Admiral Park Do-yun on Earth. 12 ships in standard council formation. They're heading for Europa's South Pole, where the ice is thickest. Perfect place for a hidden base. Admiral Park Do-hyun studied the tactical display in his underground command center. Every alien ship was marked with detailed information about its weapons, shields, and crew. Human intelligence was so complete that they knew what the aliens had eaten for breakfast. "Any sign they suspect our presence?" Park asked. "None, sir. They're acting exactly like conquerors arriving to claim empty territory. Very confident, very careless. They're not even running deep scans." Dr. Lee Suman entered the command center carrying a tablet full of data. "Admiral, the perception filters are working perfectly. The aliens scanned Luna Base this morning and saw exactly what we wanted them to see. A small research station with about 50 humans doing primitive experiments." Park Do-hyun smiled. Luna Base was actually home to over 10,000 of Earth's finest scientists and engineers, working on weapons and technology that would seem like magic to the aliens. But the perception filters made it look like a tiny outpost barely capable of keeping its lights on. "What about the civilian populations?" he asked. "They're playing their parts perfectly. The people on Mars colony are sending radio messages about crop problems and equipment failures. The asteroid miners are complaining about broken machinery and low ore yields. Everyone sounds exactly like struggling colonists barely surviving in space." The truth was very different. Mars colony was a thriving city of 500,000 people, with factories that could build entire spaceships in days. The asteroid miners were actually operating the most advanced industrial complex in the galaxy, turning raw materials into exotic matter and quantum computers. But to alien sensors, it all looked primitive and weak. On Europa, the Vortani began their landing procedures. Their ships descended toward the icy surface, energy beams melting the ice to create landing pads. The aliens worked quickly, assembling prefabricated buildings and setting up communication arrays. "Look at this place," Admiral Kexthor said as he stepped onto Europa's surface. "Empty and lifeless. The humans haven't even built a research station here. They probably don't have the technology to survive on an ice moon." What the Admiral didn't know was that there had been a human research station on Europa for 15 years. It was built deep under the ice, completely hidden from alien sensors and staffed by 300 scientists studying alien technology and psychology. The humans had been watching and waiting, learning everything they could about their visitors. Dr. Kang Myung sat in the hidden Europa base, monitoring every word the aliens spoke. Her computers automatically translated all alien languages and analyzed their speech patterns for useful information. "They're definitely planning a permanent presence," she reported to Earth. "They're talking about bringing in heavy construction equipment and setting up mining operations. They think they're claiming this moon for the Vortani Empire." Lieutenant Hanari, working from the main communications center on Earth, intercepted every message the aliens sent back to the Galactic Council. "Sir, they're reporting complete success to their government. They say the humans have fled the outer system in terror and left everything undefended." Admiral Park Do-yun made a decision that would change galactic history. "Begin Operation Vanishing Act," he ordered. All across the solar system, human installations that aliens could detect began to disappear. It started small. A communication satellite here, a mining station there. To alien sensors, it looked like humans were abandoning their equipment and fleeing deeper into space. The space station orbiting Mars simply vanished from alien scanners. The mining ships in the asteroid belt stopped transmitting. The research posts on the outer moons went silent one by one. Captain Nam Ji-woo watched from his hidden flagship as the deception unfolded perfectly. All ships maintain stealth protocols. The aliens must not detect us during the withdrawal. What the aliens saw was impossible. An entire civilization seemed to be disappearing before their eyes. Admiral Kexthor received urgent reports from his ships. Sir, human activity throughout the system is dropping rapidly. Their space installations are going offline. Their ships are leaving the area. Where are they going? Kexthor demanded. Unknown, sir. They seem to be retreating toward the outer system. But our long-range sensors can't track them that far. It's like they're just vanishing. The Galactic Council received reports that shocked them to their core. According to their surveillance network, humanity had somehow evacuated their entire solar system in less than 48 hours. This is impossible, declared Vextar during an emergency council session. The humans don't have the ships to move their entire population. Their largest vessels can barely carry a few hundred people. Perhaps they had help, suggested Krillax of the Zephyr Collective. Maybe another species evacuated them. But who? And why, and where did they go? The questions multiplied, but there were no answers. The most advanced civilizations in the galaxy could not explain how a primitive species had vanished so completely and so quickly. On Earth, the hidden command centers buzzed with activity. The planet's surface looked abandoned to alien sensors, but underground, millions of humans continued their normal lives. The perception filters made the entire planet appear empty, while hiding the greatest civilization in galactic history. Phase 1 complete, reported Colonel Yoon Ji-ho. All detectable human presence has been removed from alien scanning range. They believe we fled the system. Phase 2 begins now, Admiral Park announced. Begin ghost operations. The Shadow Fleet moved into position throughout Council space, their stealth technology making them completely invisible. Human ships took up positions near alien colonies, military bases, and trade routes. The aliens had no idea that humanity had just positioned a vast invisible fleet in their own territory. Major Park Soulon launched the first ghost operation from his stealth ship near a Vortani supply depot. Using advanced technology, his team made the depot's computers malfunction in mysterious ways. Supplies disappeared from locked storage rooms. Security cameras showed empty corridors where guards swore they had seen movement. Similar operations began throughout alien space. Equipment failed in impossible ways. Ships arrived at their destinations with their cargo mysteriously missing. Communication systems picked up strange signals in human languages, which should have been impossible since humans supposedly had no ships capable of interstellar travel. The psychological effect was devastating. The aliens had spent decades believing they were the masters of the galaxy, far superior to primitive humans. Now they were seeing evidence that somehow, somewhere, humans had technology that could make their own defenses useless. Fear began to spread through the Galactic Council. If humans could vanish so completely from their own solar system, if they could cause mysterious failures throughout alien space, what else were they capable of? The truth was more terrifying than the aliens could imagine. Humanity had not fled their solar system. They had simply become invisible. The Shadow Fleet was not hiding in distant space. It was everywhere, watching, waiting, preparing for the moment when Earth would reveal its true power to a galaxy that was finally beginning to understand how badly they had misjudged the human race. The vanishing act was complete. Now the real game would begin. Far from Earth, floating in the cold darkness between Mars and Jupiter, something amazing was hidden among the rocks. To anyone watching, the asteroid belt looked normal. Chunks of stone and metal drifted slowly in their endless dance around the sun. Mining ships moved between the larger asteroids, collecting valuable materials. Everything looked peaceful and ordinary, but looks could be very deceiving. Captain Nam Ji-woo walked through the main corridor of what appeared to be a simple asteroid mining station. The metal walls were scratched and dirty, just like any normal workplace in space. Workers in basic spacesuits moved equipment from room to room. Anyone watching through alien sensors would see exactly what they expected. Humans doing primitive work with simple tools. What the aliens could not see was the truth. Ji-woo placed his hand on what looked like a damaged wall panel. The panel scanned his palm and a hidden door slid open silently. Inside was a corridor that belonged in a science fiction movie. The walls were smooth and white, glowing with soft light. The floor was made of a material that seemed to absorb sound, making his footsteps completely silent. "Good morning, Captain," said Engineer Kim Soo-young as she met him at the entrance. "Would you like to see the morning reports?" "Always," Nam Ji-woo replied as they walked deeper into the hidden facility. They entered a room that took his breath away even after seeing it hundreds of times. The chamber was enormous, carved out of a massive asteroid and lined with the most advanced technology humanity had ever created. In the center of the room, floating in a framework of energy fields, was the pride of the human fleet. The INS Incheon's Pride was 3 kilometers long and shaped like a deadly arrow. Its hull was made from materials that did not exist anywhere else in the galaxy. Metals forged in the hearts of artificial stars and hardened with exotic matter that could bend space itself. The ship's surface was perfectly smooth and black, designed to absorb any energy that hit it and use that power to make itself stronger. "She's beautiful," Kim Soo-young said, following his gaze. "And completely invisible to every scanner the aliens have." Nam Ji-woo nodded. The ship looked like a weapon built by gods, but to alien sensors, it registered as nothing more than a floating chunk of iron ore. The perception filters that Dr. Lee Suman had designed were perfect. They fooled every type of sensor, every scanning method, every detection system the aliens possessed. "How many ships do we have ready for action?" he asked. 212, sir, all hidden throughout the belt. The aliens have scanned this area 47 times in the past year. Each time they see exactly what we want them to see: old mining equipment, floating rocks, and empty space. Commander Cho Min-yuk appeared on the main screen from his own ship, the Soul's Fury. Like all the Shadow Fleet vessels, his ship was a masterpiece of human engineering. It could accelerate fast enough to cross the solar system in hours, turn invisible at the flip of a switch, and carry weapons that could crack moons in half. "Captain," Cho Min-yuk reported, "we've been monitoring alien communications. The Vortani are very excited about their upcoming mission to Europa. They keep talking about how they'll show the primitive humans what real technology looks like." Nam Ji-woo almost laughed. If the Vortani only knew what real technology looked like, they would be running for the edge of the galaxy. "What about their fleet strength?" he asked. 12 ships total. Their largest vessel is about half the size of our smallest destroyer. Our analysis shows their weapons are about 50 years behind our current technology. Their armor couldn't stop our training weapons, let alone our real ones. The truth was that humanity had been studying alien technology for decades. Every piece of equipment the aliens had ever lost or abandoned had been secretly recovered and examined. Human scientists had learned how alien computers worked, how their engines functioned, how their weapons operated. Then they had improved on everything. The quantum computers aboard human ships could think faster than the most advanced alien artificial intelligence. Human engines could bend space and time, allowing ships to travel between distant stars in days instead of centuries. Human weapons used controlled black holes and exotic matter to create destruction, on a scale the aliens could not imagine. But the greatest advantage was something the aliens could never match: human creativity. "Sir," said Lieutenant Hanari from the communications station, "we're receiving a message from Admiral Park. The Vortani have begun their approach to Europa. He wants to know if we should activate the Deep Space Monitoring Network." "Do it," Nam Ji-woo ordered. "I want to know everything about their ships. How fast they move, how they communicate, what their weapons can do. But make sure they don't detect our scanners." "Already done, sir. Our sensors are quantum encrypted and transmitted through folded space. The aliens don't even have the mathematics to understand how our scanning works, let alone detect it." Deep in the ship's engineering section, Dr. Shin Hee-jin was studying the latest data about alien biology and psychology. She had spent 20 years learning how different alien species thought and reacted. This knowledge was crucial to the plan. "The Vortani are naturally aggressive," she explained to a group of officers. "They see everything as a challenge to be conquered. When they don't see immediate resistance from humans, they'll interpret it as weakness. This will make them overconfident and careless." "What about the other council species?" asked Major Park Soolong. "Each one has different weaknesses. The Zephyr Collective are very logical but lack imagination. The Crystal Hives think in groups but can't adapt quickly to unexpected situations. The Cathanic Union are extremely proud and can't accept that anyone might be smarter than them. This psychological knowledge was built into every human ship and weapon. When the time came to reveal themselves, humans would know exactly how to surprise, confuse, and defeat each alien species using their own mental weaknesses against them." Captain Lim Taman contacted the command center from his position near Neptune. His ship was so far from the sun that it took light 4 hours to reach him, but his quantum communication system let him talk to the fleet instantly. "Captain Nam," he reported, "we're tracking several alien scout ships at the edge of the solar system. They think they're being sneaky, but we can see them perfectly. Should we let them keep watching?" "Yes, make sure they see plenty of primitive human activity. Have the outer colonies increase their fake radio chatter. I want the aliens to think we're still using basic radio waves for communication." The deception was perfect. While aliens watched humans using primitive radio signals, the real human communication network operated through quantum entanglement and folded space. Human messages could cross the galaxy instantly without leaving any trace that alien sensors could detect. All around the asteroid belt, the Shadow Fleet waited in perfect silence. Each ship was crewed by the best and brightest humans, people who had trained their entire lives for the moment when Earth would reveal its true power to the galaxy. The ships themselves were works of art as much as weapons of war. The smallest destroyer was more powerful than the largest alien battleship. The fleet's flagship could fight the entire Galactic Council fleet and win without taking serious damage. But power was not the most important thing. The most important thing was timing. "Sir," said Kim Soo-young, looking up from her workstation, "the Vortani fleet has entered Jupiter space. They're heading directly for Europa just as we predicted." Nam Ji-woo smiled. The aliens were walking straight into the trap and they had no idea it even existed. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would learn that the primitive humans they had been watching were actually the most advanced and dangerous species in known space. The Shadow Fleet continued its silent watch, invisible and patient, waiting for the perfect moment to change galactic history forever. The great meeting hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with quiet conversation. 12 different alien species sat around the massive circular table, their various forms creating an odd mix of colors and shapes. Some had tentacles, others had multiple eyes, and a few looked almost like giant insects. But they all shared one thing. They believed they were the smartest beings in the galaxy. At the head of the table sat Vextar, the leader of the Vortani Empire. His red skin gleamed under the bright lights and his forearms moved as he spoke. "Fellow council members," he said in his deep voice, "we have watched the humans for 50 years now. They are still using chemical rockets and basic computers. It is time we helped them grow up." The other aliens nodded in agreement. They had been watching Earth through their hidden cameras and sensors for decades. Everything they saw told them the same story. Humans were still very primitive. Their spaceships were slow and clunky. Their weapons were simple bullets and missiles. Their computers were barely smart enough to play simple games. "The humans cannot even leave their own solar system," said Krillax of the Zephyr Collective, her voice making a musical sound through her translator. "Their fastest ship would take them hundreds of years to reach the nearest star. They are like children playing with toys." On Earth, Captain Nam Ji-woo stood in what looked like a simple metal room deep underground. But this room was not what it seemed. Hidden behind walls that appeared to be made of plain steel were computers more powerful than anything the aliens could imagine. The walls themselves were not metal at all, but a special material that could fool any alien scanner. "Sir," said Lieutenant Hanari as she looked at her screen, "the aliens are talking about us again. They think we're still using chemical fuel for our rockets." Nam Ji-woo smiled. "Good, let them keep thinking that. How are our perception filters working?" "Perfect, sir. Every alien sensor in the solar system sees exactly what we want them to see. When they look at our space stations, they see old metal and primitive technology. They have no idea what we really have." Dr. Lee Suman walked into the room carrying a tablet. She was the smartest person on Earth, and she had spent 20 years making sure the aliens would never discover the truth. "The filters are holding strong," she said. "The aliens scanned our Mars base yesterday. Their sensors showed them a simple research station with basic life support. They didn't see the fusion reactors or the quantum computers." Nam Ji-woo nodded. "And our ships? The Shadow Fleet is completely hidden. 200 of our most advanced warships are floating in the asteroid belt right now. To alien eyes, they look like floating rocks or old mining equipment. The aliens have no idea that each one of those ships could destroy their entire battle fleet." Back at the council meeting, Vextar was getting excited. "I propose that we allow the Vortani Empire to establish a small base in the human solar system. Nothing threatening, just a simple outpost on one of their outer moons. We can show them how advanced technology really works. It will be good for them. The other aliens thought this was a wonderful idea. They saw it as a way to help the poor primitive humans learn about the galaxy. None of them realized they were making the biggest mistake in galactic history. The humans might be scared at first, said Morden of the crystal hives, his insect-like head bobbing up and down. But once they see our peaceful intentions, they will welcome us. We can teach them so much. Yes, agreed Vextar. We will be like wise teachers helping young students. The humans will be so grateful to learn from us. Admiral Park Do-hyun sat in his office on what the aliens thought was a primitive space station orbiting Earth. In reality, he was commanding the most advanced military force in the galaxy, from a station that could travel faster than light and had weapons that could destroy entire planets. Admiral, said his aide, Colonel Yoon Ji-ho, we're getting reports that the Council has voted to let the Vortani build a base on Europa. Park Do-hyun leaned back in his chair. He had been planning for this moment for 30 years. Let them come. Have Dr. Suman make sure all our installations look extra primitive when they arrive. I want them to think we're even more backward than they imagined. What about the civilian population, sir? Should we warn them? No need. Most of our people don't even know about the Shadow Fleet. They think we really are just a simple planet with basic technology. Let them keep thinking that. It makes our act more convincing. The truth was that Earth had discovered the alien surveillance network by accident 40 years ago. A young scientist named Lee Suman had been working on a new type of radio telescope when she noticed strange signals. After months of work, she realized that advanced aliens were watching Earth and recording everything. Instead of panicking, the Earth government had made a smart choice. They decided to let the aliens keep watching, but to make sure they only saw what humans wanted them to see. It was the greatest deception in history. While the aliens watched their fake primitive Earth, the real Earth was building the most advanced space fleet ever created. Human scientists had learned everything they could from secretly studying alien technology. Then they had improved on it, making it faster, stronger, and smarter. The Shadow Fleet was invisible to alien sensors, but it was very real. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering. They could travel between stars in days instead of years. Their weapons could cut through any alien armor. Their computers could hack any alien system, but the best part was that the aliens had no idea any of this existed. The Vortani will arrive at Europa in 3 days, reported Commander Cho Minyuk from his stealth ship hidden near Jupiter. Their fleet looks impressive, but our scanners show their weapons are actually weaker than we expected. We could disable their entire force in under 10 minutes if needed. Nam Ji-woo nodded. Remember, we don't want to fight yet. Let them build their base. Let them think they're the strongest force in the solar system. When the time comes, we'll show them how wrong they are. The plan was simple but brilliant. Let the aliens come to Earth. Let them build their bases and show off their technology. Let them think they were the teachers and humans were the students. And then, when they least expected it, show them the truth. The Galactic Council thought they were about to help a primitive species take its first steps into the larger galaxy. They had no idea they were about to discover that humans had been walking among the stars for decades, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. The greatest surprise in galactic history was about to begin.